Alright guys, Jamal116 back with another redstone creation. Today I've got something that, well, it is rather small, I don't think has ever really been done before. Basically what I've got here is I've got a way to compare multiple scores on a scoreboard objective without repeatedly subtracting the scores over and over again. So like if you have like a minigame that you want to do wind detection, which is actually kind of the scenario I was planning here, then you can like do in-game tests and say, oh, red team is winning or blue team is winning. And the other wonderful part about this is instantaneous. So notice as soon as I press the button, it will basically instantly tell me that it's a tie. If I push player 1, give him a point, you'll see in the sidebar there. If I push it now, it'll say player 1's the winner. Now, of course, we can also go on. I can hit player 4. Now, if I press again, it'll say it's a tie. As of yet, I haven't figured out a way to make it figure out what players there is a tie between, but that probably wouldn't be too difficult. The problem will come if it's like a 3-way tie or a 4-way tie or something. Anyways, so moving on, I can give players 2 and 3 points also, and you'll notice now it'll still say it's a tie. Let's say I give player 4 an extra point, and then say player 4 wins. Now I'll give player 3 2 points, so now player 3's in the lead. Now it says player 3 wins. I'll give player 2 enough to get up to player 3. So now player 2 and 3 each have 3 points, as you can see in the sidebar. Once again, it's a tie. And then if I give player 2 one more point, then player 2 wins. Now, one thing you did notice is that it's pretty fast, basically instant like I said. And also, I was able to continue adding to the scores even after I tested for the win, so it keeps the scores the same way they were. And basically, I just like this a lot better than the old ways of doing this. And as far as I can tell, I might have forgot to mention this, but as far as I can tell, this is the first way ever that you can do it like this, and so I'm pretty proud of it. Anyways, there are a couple downsides of it though. As you can see, I'm on a server right now with Rockabilly over there in the corner, but basically what's happening here is that it needs at least 2 people or 2 groups of people to function right. Because it basically what it does is I'll explain it later, but it needs 2 people. No matter how many teams there are, at least you'll never need more than 2 people. But this won't work for any single player map, so if any of you were planning on using it for that, unfortunately it won't work. Anyways, the way it works is actually really simple. This is all there is to the redstone. And what's going to happen first is I've made a couple objectives. You can see I've made one here called 1v2. I've made another one here called 3v4. And then there's one more down here called 1v4. Now what essentially is going to happen is, let's start up with here with 1v2. What's going to happen is it's when I push a player or something to add 1 to player 1's score, what will happen is it will add 1 point to that objective player, or to 1v2 for me, and then what it'll do for Rockabilly is it'll subtract 1 point from him. So if I were to set that to the sidebar real quick, set display sidebar 1v2, you'll see right now Rockabilly's score is +3, my score is -3. That's because if we go, and as you can see, hold on, sidebar test, player 1's score is 3 less than player 2's score. Hence the +3, -3. It does the same thing with players 3 and 4. If I add 1 to 4, it'll actually add 1 to Rockabilly's score and remove 1 from mine. Now, what happens then is I also have this set up to add 1 score to the fake player on the sidebar there, and that's just so that I can get a 1 signal strength pulse, so I can put these all right next to each other. Anyway, so this pulse comes down here, and there's a test for under here. Now, what this basically does is it tests for whatever player, and in this case, I think I'm on the player 1 thing right now. Yeah, I'm on the player 1 side right now. What it does is it tests for whether or not player 1, when you add a point to him, whether or not he's ahead of player 2. If he's not ahead of player 2, then nothing happens. If he is ahead of player 2, then this comparator will light up, and what it will do is it will then change the 1v4 objective basically in the same way that it changed the 1v2 objective. And so what I've essentially done is it compares players 1 and 2 together and it compares players 2 and 3 together, and then it compares like the two groups together. So whoever's got the biggest score out of 1 and 2, which in this case is player 2, he has a score of 4, and between 3 and 4, since player 3 has a score of 3 and player 4 has a score of 2, it's going to compare 2 and 3 in this case, which since player 2 has 4 and player 3 has 3, player 2 wins. Now you'll notice that if I add 1 to player 1, you'll notice nothing happens because this comparator down here turned off because player 1 was not above player 2. Anyways, what happens from there is basically there's just a very specific set of your scores are this, your scores of that for whoever's in the lead. So there's just a bunch of test fours. So for instance, if this is player 4, if player 4 is winning, then Rockabilly will have a score in 1v4 of 1, and will have a score of 3v4 of 1, or above 1 rather. And if player 3's winning, then he'll have a score of 1v4 as 1, but 3v4 is below 1 for him. And so just by using different test fours than that, I can figure out who is in the lead and whether or not it's a tie, which is this one over here. And basically, just using scoreboards themselves, I have managed to completely redesign, reinvent wind detection as it is, and honestly I like this way so much better, and I'm really glad I could figure it out because I've been doing a lot of maps that could use this recently. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys today, so until next time, Jamal116 signing out. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, if you could leave a like and a comment down below, it'll help a lot and it makes me happy. Anyways, also on the screen right now you'll see links to my YouTube and my Twitter, so you can subscribe to me on YouTube and follow me on Twitter. You'll get notified in 2 places of whenever I upload a video, so you'll never miss another one ever again. Also on the screen right now, you'll see a link to my last video, which was a Connect 4 board I made with Rockabilly, and it uses no sand and it's got automatic wind detection, and it's a pretty cool thing actually, so definitely go check that out. And other than that, I really don't have anything for you guys, so I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, Jamal116 signing out.